Okay. All right. Okay, we're live. Hi everyone, welcome back to Lucky Girl. I apologize that there hasn't been an episode in a couple of weeks. I had the flu. It was so bad. Whatever you do, do not get sick. Do not get this bug. Whatever is going around, it was so bad. I'm about 3 weeks out and I'm still congested. I feel like you can kind of hear it in my voice. It has just lasted so long. It is so frustrating. I was not able to work for like 2.5 weeks, which I hate because if you know one thing about me, I love going to work. I love my little routine. Well, as much as a routine as I can have as a flight attendant. I felt like I was in such a good groove of yoga and Pilates, and now I have not moved my body in weeks, and I just still feel weak and fatigued. So I'm hoping that I can snap out of this soon because I just want to get back to feeling like myself again. This flu was so bad. I had a fever for about 5 days straight, which, if you know me, it's really triggering because when I was in the hospital post transplant, I had a fever pretty much the whole time that I was in the hospital. And all of those feelings, they just bring me back to those days, and it's just so horrible. Also, when you have a fever, you have to like sweat it out. Like, I woke up like drenched in sweat, which night sweats were my one and only symptom before I was originally diagnosed. So my brain immediately goes, "Oh, you have cancer again," which is not true. It's just a fever, but that's how my brain works, and it just is so scary. And the first night that I didn't have night sweats, I was like, okay, I don't have cancer again. Even though I know it was just the flu, it's still so triggering for all of my old fears. So I'm hoping that I snap out of this soon because I have some fun things coming up, and I feel like I've been down and out almost all month. Like, this month has just been a wash. It has not been fun. I've barely been working. It's just been rough. But next month is my birthday month. We're entering Aries season soon. Well, I guess it's not even Aries season until like late March, but we're getting there. I have some fun plans for my birthday, so I don't know. I just need to get through this. I am going on a cruise this weekend. My first and only cruise. Well, not only cruise. My first cruise I've ever been on. And I honestly have no idea what to expect. I feel like people either love them or hate them. So I feel like I just needed to try it for myself and see if I even like it. We're going to the Bahamas, so if anything, I'm like, it's gonna be so beautiful. Get a little sunshine. I feel like my soul needs some warm weather right now after being sick. And I don't know, I'm excited for like a chill trip. We didn't plan any crazy excursions. My whole group was like, let's just go to the beach and chill and go to the pool. So we're not doing anything crazy. But I'm excited. We're leaving tomorrow. So I've got everything packed, just trying to like mentally prepare. I have a little fake tan on that's marinating, which is so great. But yeah, this month has just been weird, and I feel like we need to start March on a better foot because I'm just tired of being sick. So this episode, I have been thinking about filming for weeks now. I'm finally getting into it. And today we are going to talk about Formula One. And before my girlies click off, please hear me out. This is my plea, I don't even know what I'm trying to say, my argument for why the girlies need to get into Formula One, because it was something that I became obsessed with about a year or two ago. I guess it was when I was like off of work. I watched the whole Drive to Survive series and just fell in love with the sport. So please don't click off. Please hear me out. I feel like for the girls that know it, understand, but I know that I didn't even know it was a sport until like 2 years ago. So I'm going to explain to you why I love it so much, and maybe you'll give it a shot. Maybe you'll hear me out, at least watch the show, or just watch a race or something. But we are going to talk today about why I love Formula One so much. So sit back, relax, and let's get into it. I'm sorry Mooney's eating in the background. Every podcast episode, it's like he's just doing something, so I apologize for that. Okay, so like I said, I did not know Formula One was a sport at all. My only knowledge of like racing was NASCAR because my uncle is super into NASCAR, and NASCAR is not my cup of tea. It's just, I hate to say it, but like just too yeehaw American for me. Like, I just don't ever see myself going to a NASCAR race. IndyCar is different, and I actually do want to go to an IndyCar race. I'll get into it. But I saw the show pop up on Netflix and I was like, you know what, let's give it a try. I feel like it's kind of cool to learn about a sport from scratch, like literally knowing nothing, not learning about it through your family members or anything like that, just learning about it literally from the start, from knowing nothing. It's kind of cool. Because I feel like most sports, I have general knowledge. I know basketball, football, soccer, hockey, all of the things. I was going in clean slate. So I started watching the show and I was like, wait, this is kind of cool. And hear me out, I'm just a girl. First thing that pulled me in was I was like, these are the most handsome men I have ever seen. That was the first thing. There's a lot more to it that I love now, but what can I say? They're all of these handsome, handsome men who are some of the most driven, like, they are probably some of the most passionate men I have ever, like, witnessed, because to become a driver, a successful driver, especially to get up to the level of Formula One, they started driving, like, probably before they could walk. Like, they were racing in go-karts. They have to start at such a young age. Like, I think most of them started super young, and now we're at the point where they are at the highest seat in race car driving, and it's just so cool to learn about their journeys. So that is why I do love Drive to Survive. There is some controversy about the show regarding the fact that some of it is dramatized, but at the end of the day, it's a TV show. I kind of get it. They have to like not add things. Like, I don't think any of it is like fake, but there are certain like relationships or rivalries that are definitely dramatized to make more entertaining television. So I kind of get it, but it does a good job at introducing all of the drivers and kind of giving their backstory, and helps you learn kind of where they come from and what their driving careers have looked like. Because again, these drivers, driving is their whole entire life. Like, it is, they live, breathe, sleep driving. So you get a good chance to learn about all of the guys. You get to learn about the teams, which is very important knowledge. Okay, let's give like some facts before we dive into all of the team and driver things. So in Formula One, as of last year, there were 10 teams. Let's see if I can name them all. Quiz myself. Now this year there's going to be 11 teams, but okay, Ferrari, Mercedes, Red Bull, Williams, Alpine, Kick Sauber, which will now be Audi. Did I say oh no. Why am I blanking? McLaren. I'm literally wearing McLaren sweatshirt. Racing Bulls. What is the oh my gosh. This is gonna bug me so much. Oh, Haas, of course. There's one more. Oh, Aston Martin. Oh my god, I think I got all of them. So as of last year, there were 10 teams, and each team has 2 drivers. And then there's like reserve drivers and junior drivers, but that's kind of irrelevant. The reserve drivers just go in if like someone gets sick. Like, I think it was last season or the season before, Carlos Sainz had appendicitis, and so the reserve driver steps up and drives for him. But mostly the 20 drivers are driving in every single race. So 10 teams, 20 drivers, and then this year, which is why partly I wanted to talk about Formula One and maybe get some people into it, is because this is the first year that there is going to be a US team. Cadillac. There's going to be a United States team, because every other team, no one's based in the United States. I think McLaren and Mercedes are like UK based. Ferrari's Italian, of course. They're not all tied to countries, but like where their headquarters is kind of like where they're based. So this is the first time there's going to be an actual US team on the track, which is so cool. And I think will definitely bring more Americans into watching Formula One. I mean, my favorite team will always and forever be Ferrari. I'm just a Ferrari girl. I studied abroad in Italy. I just love it. I love the history of it. I'm pretty sure they're the oldest team on the track, because I think they started racing in 1950, which was the first year of Formula One, because a lot of the teams have evolved and changed. I know McLaren is one of the newer teams on the track. And then there are some teams, like, there's this one, if you watch Drive to Survive, you watch all of the seasons, their name will change every year because they have a different sponsor or a different buyer or a different owner. So, like, Aston Martin was not Aston Martin for quite a long time until Lance Stroll bought it. And then, what's the one, Kick Sauber is going to be Audi this next year, which is super cool. So, yeah. That is one thing in the show that it covers, is the evolution of all of the teams, because it's just an industry that is always changing, always evolving. It's kind of similar to the aviation industry. I mean, I think it's way more quick paced, but how, you know, there used to be Pan Am back in the day, like United is a conglomerate of a bunch of different airlines, how Delta is a bunch of different airlines merged into one. So it definitely keeps it exciting because each year is truly so different. And also the drivers are always changing teams, so that changes a lot of things. Like Lewis Hamilton is tied for the highest number of world championships. I think he has 7 titles, same as Michael Schumacher. He raced on Mercedes forever and ever, and then he switched to Ferrari, which was like huge. So then a seat opened up at Mercedes. It was like this huge, like, who's gonna get Lewis Hamilton's seat on Mercedes? So no season ever looks exactly the same, which is so cool. I should have planned out this episode a little bit, but I hope this is all making sense. So I covered how the teams are always changing. That is a big thing. The biggest thing that I love about Formula One is that there is so much more to it than just the race. Like, when you first start watching, you'll watch the Grand Prix and that's it. But then you start to learn that there is so much that goes behind it. Like, it is not just the driver. Like, yes, the driver is the one performing on the track, but all of the engineers, all of the, like, scientists and, like, mechanics that go into making these cars, it's such a big deal because the faster the car and the better the driver, the better the team. So if you have a car that's not working, even if you have great drivers, you're not going to perform. And then vice versa. If you have a great car and not a great driver, you're not going to get any points. So it has to be this perfectly functioning system for it all to work. Like, even down to the tire stops, like tire changes, those mechanics have to be working, or else it could add time to the race and could severely impact the results. So it's kind of this, like, huge mass group of people. It's kind of like a beehive. Like, it all has to be working together, like synchronized, like the synchronized swimming, to do well. And teams go through such ebb and flows. Like, even though Ferrari has the most constructor championship trophies, there's been multiple years where Mercedes has won it. And then this past year, McLaren won it. Back in the day, Williams was super prevalent and was doing super well. So many factors go in it to be a successful team, and why rarely 2 seasons ever look the same. I do not have any experience with engineering or any of that sorts, but my dad and sister are actually both engineers, and the faster the car, the better year the team is going to have. And the thing about Formula One, I'm pretty sure, like, the background behind why it's called Formula is because there's all of these things that go into being a successful team, like having the correct formula to help you win. I'm pretty sure that's why it's called what it is. But they're building these cars under all... My God. I'm pretty sure my neighbor's a gamer. He's always screaming at something. But there's all of these rules and regulations on cars, and it's always changing a little bit every season. There are seasons where teams will have illegal parts on their cars, and then they get penalized for it. So it's crazy. The build of the car is so important, but why I truly love it at the end of the day is these drivers. I love, if you ever start watching the show, the first season, first episode highlights Daniel Ricciardo, which I think is one of the most charismatic drivers of all time. Everyone loves him. Even though he's not racing anymore, he's still around. He just is that guy that everyone loves. He has the best personality. He's from Australia. He's just so cool. I love learning, like, the how and why behind these drivers, like why they do what they do, how they got into it. Some of them had family members who drove, others didn't. They just happened to get into it. It is actually crazy because I think part of why I never knew about Formula One is it's not, I don't really know if they have go-karting in America, because that's how they all start, is go-karting. And I don't know if they really have that here. Like, it's huge in France, it's huge in Italy. I'm pretty sure it's big in the UK because there's a lot of UK drivers. To my knowledge, go-karting is not a thing. It's something that you do at like an entertainment place, like you go-kart for fun. But that's how they all start. Because that's not really a thing, I feel like parents put their kids in soccer or football. I don't know. That's why maybe with this Cadillac team, it'll introduce the sport a little bit more. But it is such a global sport. It's actually insane because they compete 24 races in, I think, like 20 or 21 countries, because I mean the US has 3 races. Is there 1 or 2 races in Italy, Monza? It's such a global sport though that includes so many different countries, whether it's the drivers, whether it's the team, whether it's the race. It's like this uniting sport that just brings so many different people from so many different places together. It's just so cool. That's why I'm just wanting for it to become bigger in the United States. I mean, now we have 3 races. We have Miami, we have the Austin race, which is COTA, and we have Vegas. So I'm like, I know there are American fans, but I'm just kind of excited for the day that it like actually pops off, because it's just such a fun sport to watch. I love that you can go watch a race in any country. I actually got to go to my first race. I went to the Vegas race with my sister. I think it was 2 years ago. I think it was actually like after my transplant. Yeah, I went that November. And it was so cool. I don't think I would do the Vegas race again. So when it comes to the races, there are circuit races, which is like on a racetrack. But there are some races that are literally on the streets, which means it shuts down the whole city. So Las Vegas is a street race, which means if you go, it's so hard to get around anywhere because all of the roads are closed. So it's just a little bit chaotic. I know that the Vegas race has caused a lot of controversy because due to the like week or 2 week long road closures, it impacts all of the people's lives that like live there. But it is cool because each race is on a different grid, so no 2 races are the same. Having it on the streets definitely impacts the race. Like Monaco, everyone says the Monaco race is boring because I guess it doesn't have like the craziest turns and stuff like that, but it's just so cool to see it on like the old streets of Monaco, and it's just so classic. I actually have a picture of the Monaco race on my wall because I'm just like manifesting going to it one day. But yeah, Vegas was a street race. It was at night, which that was another thing. It was just freezing because if you know Vegas, it gets so cold at night. But it was just such a cool experience and something that I would love to experience again. Getting to just be there in the racing atmosphere and seeing the cars in real life, like it's just completely unmatched. The one thing is, being at a race in person, it is hard because you're watching these cars zoom by, but you're probably watching on your phone or on a screen where the actual racers are because you're probably on a straight or at a turn. Like, there's no way physically to watch a race like how you do on TV because it's just these tracks are so large. They go by so fast. You can't really keep track of anything besides like who's driving by. So you do have to watch externally and you can't even tell like who's in what place. I guess the craziest thing to see in person would be the crashes, but like I hate that and that's just always so scary. But that's the one thing I would say about going to a race in person that I experience is it's just you don't get to see a lot. I guess besides if you're in the Paddock Club, which I am manifesting one day. I will be in the Paddock Club. It's so cool. You get to be over the garages, so you get to see like the tire changes. I gotta say that's probably gotta be one of the coolest things ever. But honestly, if you wanna just watch a race, it's so much better to watch just on TV because you can actually like see the lineup on the side. You can see how far behind each driver is from one another. You have the announcers. They're mic'd up during the races, so you can get their radios between them and their engineers and stuff like that. So there's a lot more that you can see on the TV, but going to a race is just so cool. Like the atmosphere, everything is awesome. My sister and I had a blast. We actually like went super last minute. We didn't even have tickets. Don't sue me. I was on Hinge very actively that weekend and ended up matching with this guy who was like, hey, I have extra tickets to the race. Do you want to come? And my sister and I were like, yeah. So we met these random dudes and happened to go to the race with them. It was kind of crazy. It was one of those experiences where you're like, I'm just gonna say yes. They got us in and then they didn't even stay. I think they were actually F1 fans, or I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to get the tickets for like the glitz and glamour of it for like the Instagram photo. But they did end up staying. They hung out with us for like 20, 30 minutes and then they dipped. They were going, I think, on like a helicopter ride or something, which is so funny. But my sister and I just stayed and enjoyed the race together, and it was so much fun to experience with her because when I started watching Drive to Survive, I forced my family to watch it as well, so they all kind of got into it. And because she's a mechanical engineer, she's really intrigued by the cars and everything and the builds behind them. So it was so fun to just see her so excited, and it was such a great experience. Like I said, I don't think I would go to the Vegas race again. I really want to go to like a daytime circuit race because I just feel like that would be the complete opposite from Vegas. I would love to go to Coda. Miami would be super cool. I'm gonna try to just like go to Miami. I don't know if I'll actually go to the race, but I'm gonna try to either like pick up a trip or something and just be in Miami that weekend because I've just heard, I swear to God, my cat turns into a menace when I am filming. But like I was saying, I think I would love to experience a different race. Yes, I would die to go to Monaco one day. That is like my dream race to attend. Or even like Bahrain would be so cool. Like they race in some of the coolest cities, and I feel like each race is so different that it would just be so fun to experience one of them. So we'll see. I don't know. So I feel like hopefully I gave you a little bit of background on why I love this sport so much. I wanted to go through the drivers because I feel like, yes, I have my favorite teams, but honestly, I love all of the like driver politics because each driver, like some people follow them for their personalities, some people follow them for their driving skills. There's a lot of different things because there are some drivers who like they honestly just are there to do their job to race, but then there are others that I feel like have these like super great personalities, and I'm someone, I definitely fall for the personality type, the personality hire. No, they're all such talented drivers. I mean, you can't sit in an F1 seat without being one of the most talented drivers in the world, but there are some that have like the most amazing sense of humor, and it just makes it a little bit more fun to watch. So let's run through the 2026 teams and the drivers. I'm going to try, if I can, for the visual watchers, for the people watching the podcast, I'm going to include photos of all the drivers for you to understand that yes, they're like literally the most handsome men. So Alpine is, I'm pretty sure, a French team. It used to be Renault back in the day, I'm pretty sure, and then changed to Alpine, if I'm not mistaken. So we've got Pierre Gasly. We love him. He shows up in the show quite a bit because what team was he on? And he had a huge rivalry with his teammate, which is tough because the two of them on the team, sometimes they have to work together to get points, but at the end of the day, they're individuals because there's the constructor championship, which is the teams, and then there's the drivers championship, which is the individuals. So there are like two completely separate parts to this, where sometimes the drivers have to work together. They're being forced to work together by the team, but they might really not like each other. They might be each other's biggest competitors. When Charles and Carlos were both racing for Ferrari, I wouldn't say they're equal drivers, but they were definitely competing against one another all season. And then, of course, McLaren, over the past couple of years, between Oscar and Lando, they were competing for the drivers' championship the whole entire season. There's a lot of elements to the drivers being on the same team, and then it's cute. I feel like most of them are like friends outside of it. They all grew up together, they all grew up racing against each other, or they looked up to the older guys on the teams like Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso. They like grew up idolizing them, and now they're racing against them on the track, and it's just like one of the sweetest, most full circle things. Like some of the younger drivers that come in, they like fangirl over Lewis Hamilton, which I would too. So, okay, Alpine, we have Pierre Gasly, Franco Colapinto. Aston Martin, we have Fernando Alonso, which I think he's won a handful of drivers' championships. He's older. I think he's like 45, but he's a very talented driver. And then we have Lance Stroll, which that is a whole rabbit hole if you want to get into. His father owns a team. Oh my god, earlier I think I said Lance Stroll owns a team. I think I accidentally called the son his dad. So when I said that earlier, please scratch that. What's his dad's name? Something Stroll. But yeah, his dad owns the team, which is very interesting. And then next year we'll have Audi, which was Kick Sauber last year. And we have Nico Hülkenberg, which if you watch the show, the way that Daniel Ricciardo says Nico Hülkenberg, because they used to drive together. I think they drove together on Renault, or it wasn't on Red Bull. I don't know, but they were teammates and it was so cute. And then we have Gabriel Bortoleto, which I don't really know him. He's newer. He's from Brazil, which is so cool. Ooh, the Brazil race would also be so rad. And then we have Cadillac, the brand new team, the American team. And we have Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas, which I think is really good for a new team because, I mean, I feel like any team that comes in new, it's just going to be a complete trial year for them, but they have two really successful and seasoned drivers, so I think that will help because Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas have been racing forever, and I think like having two stable, consistent drivers is going to be good for a brand new team. And then we have Ferrari, my favorite team ever. I don't know what it is. I love the history of it. The fans are so passionate about Ferrari, and since I've been a fan and within the last few years, Ferrari has kind of been an underdog team for my whole lifetime, I think, or at least the last 10-15 years. It's been Mercedes, Red Bull, and McLaren on top, but Ferrari is kind of they do show up. When Charles and Carlos were racing, I mean, they had podiums, which means they got first through third in the races and got the highest number of points. Ferrari has some really good races, but I just feel overall throughout the season, they haven't been able to keep up with the top teams, but I love them forever and always. Charles Leclerc is my favorite driver. His whole life story is just so sweet. There's actually this clip. Wait, I should play it. You won't be able to. Oh, wait, I guess it'll play out loud. There is this thing that will make me cry literally every time. It's Charles Leclerc, the announcer, when he wins the Monaco race, which he's born and raised in Monaco. It's this audio clip, and it is just the sweetest thing ever. Okay, let's see if... Okay, wait, this is it. Oh my god. Okay.
In 2017...
Wait, literally with the music, it's gonna make me sob. Okay, let me lock in. Whoever this... I don't even know who the announcer is. This is the main Formula One guy. It literally, I just got full body goosebumps. Okay, let's lock in. This is, if you're gonna like F1, this is why you love it. Okay, listen to this. It's not gonna sound very good, I'm sorry.
In 2017, Charles Leclerc lost his father. The grandstands he saw built as a kid growing up now rise.
The grandstands that he saw being built growing up now rise.
Is for him and for the first fabled race.
This literally there's tears in my eyes. Oh, it's just okay. I'm sorry. We'll finish the video.
Race is won.
Oh my god, that audio and the video and the commentary will forever make me cry. This kid who grew up in Monaco, his dad passed away. He lied to his father and said that he got a seat in Formula One because he was just manifesting it. He said he did it. And then he did. It came true, and I am so sad that his dad never got to see him race, but I know he's watching from up above, and having him win the Monaco Grand Prix was the highlight. I was okay, yep, I love this sport. This is the most heartwarming thing. That is why I watch Formula One. It's just, God, the sweetest thing ever. That video will never fail to make me cry. Wow. Oh, so yeah, Charles Leclerc is my favorite driver. What a man. Also, slight tangent. I love following all the drivers' girlfriends and wives. Some of the coolest girls, they have the coolest style, because the whole thing, like, there is definitely a style element to Formula One, which I kind of love. That's kind of why I love basketball. Like, seeing their outfits when they walk in, because each race, it's not just a day, it's like a race weekend. The girls specifically, the guys will do it, like Lewis Hamilton's very stylish, but the girls will absolutely show up like slay the house down boots. They look so good. Charles Leclerc's fiance now, congrats to them. She is like the most beautiful person ever. She's ethereal. I love following her on Instagram. Her style, everything, she just like walks through the paddock with grace, and I love her. They have a little dog together too. It's so cute. I feel like their significant others, like, because their person, their boyfriend, their husband is in such an all-consuming sport, they kind of get absorbed into it too. So they're there at a lot of the races, and it's just kind of fun to follow them and see their journey too. And then also on Ferrari, okay, back on track, we got Lewis Hamilton, which is one of the most decorated drivers ever. He used to race for Mercedes forever. I'm pretty sure his first F1 seat was with Mercedes. So him switching to Ferrari was insane. I think one of the craziest switch-ups in Formula One history. And then we have Haas, which I do like Haas. Gunther Steiner used to be the team principal of Haas, and if you watch the show, you're gonna love Gunther Steiner. He is such a character. He's hilarious. Pretty sure he's German. Such an icon. I would die. I would literally freak out to meet Gunther Steiner in person. I just think that he is one of the coolest people. I need to read his book. He wrote a book, I think it's called like Survive to Drive or something like that. It's like a play on words of the show. But he's not the principal anymore, but he's an absolute icon. We've got Esteban Ocon, which in the show, they kind of make him a villain, which I don't think is a very like fair portrayal, because like he's not a villain in his like in real life, but they do kind of villainize him. But Esteban Ocon's story is super cool. I'm pretty sure he came from like nothing, and his family like supported him in his driving career. And I kind of love I love any story about someone that just was completely passionate about what they wanted to do and made it happen, and I just think his story is super cool. And then we have Ollie Behrman. He's like a baby. He's just such a little cutie. And then we have McLaren. I am wearing a McLaren sweatshirt. I do love McLaren. I think that they are a super fun team to watch. They are so exciting, and the whole Lando Norris, Oscar Piastri, like head-to-head rivalry is very entertaining to watch. Also, the way that Lando Norris has just like skyrocketed, because when he started driving, he was like little baby Lando Norris. Like, I think there's this audio clip of one of the commentators going, "It's all too much for little Lando Norris." But now, last year, he won the Drivers' Championship. So he has just absolutely like killed it in the past couple seasons. He is super fun to watch. There is a huge following behind Lando Norris. Like, he is one of the most beloved racers. I do really like to watch him. I wouldn't say he's my favorite, but him and Oscar are a really good team-ish. I mean, they are rivals, but they win the most points by far. And then we have Mercedes, which is another classic, like, OG team. George Russell, not really my cup of tea, but I do love Kimi Antonelli. When they lost Lewis Hamilton, George Russell really had to step up, and he has stepped up, but he had very big shoes to fill. And then we have Racing Bulls, which is like the second team to Red Bull. We've got Liam Lawson, who is hilarious if you follow him online. And then next season we have Arvid Lindblad, I think how you say his name. Don't know him. He's new. He was probably a reserve driver or a junior driver that's now stepping up. And then we have Max Verstappen, who I think he won 4 drivers' championships? I don't know. But he's absolutely killed the game. We love Max Verstappen. He's Dutch. Then we got Isaac Hadjar, which is one of the younger guys who is also super funny online. I'd say Liam Lawson and Isaac Hadjar are like, they have so much personality. They're so fun to just follow online because They're like, in one of the most, like, being an F1 driver is just the top tier, like top pyramid, but they still have like such a good personality. I'm sad next year Yuki Tsunoda doesn't have a seat. He is from Japan. He's one of my favorites. They definitely talk about him a lot in the show. It's mostly him getting in trouble because I think when he learned to speak English, he would watch shows that were like very like vulgar, a lot of profanities. And so his engineers, because like I said, they're mic'd up during the races, he was just throwing profanities the whole entire time, and they were like, Yuki, you need to clean up your language. I don't know, I think it was a penalty, maybe not over the radio, but I know if they're in interviews with like the FIA after and they cuss, I think they have to pay fines, which is insane. That's been like a whole thing over the past couple years because sometimes they just let it slip. I'm pretty sure they have to pay a lot of money. So Yuki Tsunoda, I think, got in a lot of trouble for that, but he is hilarious. And then we have Williams, one of my favorite teams. I kind of can't wait for the day that they come back. I feel like it will happen because Williams is like one of the oldest teams in Formula One history. But then they kind of had a falling out when I think it was the original owner. Because in the show, there's Claire Williams, who I think her father owned Williams back in the day. And when he left the team, it kind of fell off. And I'm pretty sure, was Claire Williams the team principal? She might have been. She was like, or maybe she became the owner. I don't know. But she had to step down. They had to like do a complete rebrand of Williams because, like I said, these teams go through major ebbs and flows. Like there are years where the team is on top, and then there's other years where the team is down in like midfield or lower to midfield. So for Williams, we have Carlos Sainz, which is, I think he's my number 2. I love Carlos Sainz so much. I also love Lewis Hamilton. But when Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc were teammates, that was my favorite era. They're like besties in real life. I'm also obsessed with Carlos's girlfriend. She is beautiful. And Carlos Sainz just has the best personality. His dad used to be a race driver. His family is like super involved in racing. They show him a lot in the show, and he is such a big character. And I just love the man. Also, he's just so beautiful to look at. And then we have Alex Albon, who is also one of my favorites. I think he's originally from Thailand. He is awesome too. And he just got engaged to, her name's Lily, and she's a professional golfer. So they're like a power couple together, which is so cool. So I wanted to just run through all of the drivers and just talk about them because no, they're not everything. There's so much more. The team behind them, the owners, the sponsors, the car, everything, but the drivers are the ones who, are performing on race day. So they're like the front facing of the team, and it's just so much pressure on them. Like, I honestly feel for these guys. Like, they're living their dream, but it's so high pressure to even just like keep their seat. It's crazy, and I have so much respect for them, and their like drive and passion for their sport is so inspiring. And like there's no one that's a Formula One driver who isn't like 100% passionate about it, like, because you can't be, because it consumes your whole entire life. Like when you're in the off season, you're training for the following season. There is no downtime. Gosh, I hope this all made sense. I feel like I've just been word vomiting about Formula One. I don't even know if I've stated any facts. If you're still here, thanks for being here. I just kind of wanted to talk about why I love Formula One. I definitely don't keep track of like all of the stats. I only started watching a couple years ago. I don't know a lot about the like mechanics behind the car. I do know next season, I guess there's a huge shift. They're going 50-50 between electric and gas engines. So there's going to be a huge shift in the competition this next season because no one knows how the cars are going to drive next season. It's going to be a big, big shift. And I think each time there is a big change, and especially the engines, there's usually a different team on top, if that makes sense. So this is definitely going to be a season to watch, especially because last season there was a huge, huge rivalry between not only Lando and Oscar from McLaren, but Lando and Max. Max is like one of the best drivers of all time, and he had like a major comeback throughout the season. So a lot of people really wanted him to win because his comeback was honestly amazing. But Lando ended up winning it in the end, which I'm so happy for him. He got his first driver's championship. He worked so hard. I think there are some people that say that he didn't deserve it, but I'm happy for the kid, okay? So yeah, I hope this made sense. I have no clue. If you can't tell, I love the sport so much. I think it's so fun. I wish I could go to more races. I want to try to make that happen over the next year. I also would love to try to work with one of the teams or one of the big sponsors of the teams. That is honestly on my dream list of brands that I would love to work with. I also would just love to get the girlies into Formula One because it's such a fun, exciting sport to watch that never really has a dull moment. In Vegas, my sister and I had so much fun getting dressed up and going to the race. We ran into George Russell's girlfriend at brunch there. I just want to get more of my girlfriends into it because I just think it's such a fun sport that is not really on the radar of a lot of people that I know, especially in America. So if you want to get into the sport, I'd say start by watching Drive to Survive, but definitely watch it with a grain of salt, knowing that some of the stuff is very dramatized to make it a more entertaining TV show. So that's why I watch the season, but then I also watch like the races throughout the season and keep up with the news and everything because I feel like you have to know the facts while watching this show. Like there'll be something that's dramatized in the show that actually wasn't that crazy in real life or vice versa, things like that. So start by watching the show. I'd say follow like the drivers and the teams, especially on TikTok. Whoever's running the social media accounts of these teams is honestly impeccable. Oh my god, I didn't even talk about Toto Wolff. If you want to see the most beautiful man ever, just Google Toto Wolff. My sister and I walked past him at one of the hotels in Vegas, and my heart stopped. I was like, I didn't even say anything. He like looked at me, I looked at him, he knew that I recognized him, and he kept walking, and I was like, that was Toto Wolff. It was crazy. He's the team principal of Mercedes, and I also love his wife, Susie Wolff. I'm pretty sure she runs the women's racing teams. There's a whole show on that which I haven't watched, and I think that I need to get into because I hope in my lifetime I see a female in one of the Formula One driver seats. That would be so sick. But Susie Wolff is like leading that. She is amazing. They are like a powerhouse couple. Love them. So yeah, follow the teams, follow the girlfriends, especially if you're into fashion. They are all the most fashionable girls I've ever seen. They're all so classy and cool. And maybe go to a race, especially if there's one near you. Like if you're in Austin, oh my gosh, you should go to Coda because I would if I lived there. The closest race for me is Vegas, which I would totally go back and do again, but I just feel like I want to experience other races before, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope this like taught you just a little bit something about Formula One. It's not NASCAR. It's so much fun to watch. The drivers are so fun to keep up with. The teams always have a lot going on. There's just a lot that goes into it. I think that's all I got for you. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know if you go watch a race, which, well, the season doesn't start for a little bit, but go watch a race or go watch the show and let me know if you like it because I think Formula One has something for everyone. Thank you so much for listening or watching this week's episode. I hope we'll be back now, a little bit more consistent. This flu has just gotten me down bad. But thanks for being here. Love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.